surfer Glenn T. You are now listening to Riding the Wave. I just want to say hello to all of my fans out there today. Thank you for supporting and listening to me so far. I am a brand new podcast. Again, this is Riding the Wave with Glenn T, the Urban Surfer. Now, just jumping right along into it, we have an interesting topic today that I want to have addressed. And let's just see what your thoughts are on some of these topics here that I'm going to address today. It is very interesting, is the power of change. We all know that change is a very powerful topic. We all know that change is inevitable, and sometimes we can predict it, most times we cannot. Let me know what you think, the power of change. Again, this is Glenn T. Just want to address in one fashion. What do you think about the power of change? What's stopping you from living your best life? Because you know it requires change to live your best life. What's stopping you? Let me ask you, who has the power to change you? Is it you? Is it your friends, your family, your loved ones, the school that you educate yourself with? Is it the job or the mentor that you have within the field that you're working in? Who has the power to change you? If you ask me, who has the power to change you? I can tell you very simply, you. Yes, that answer is that simple. The simple answer is, who can change you? You can. If you're waiting for the skies to split open or to somebody to tap you on the shoulder, some people in life can tell you that they've had some miracles happen, but the majority of times you just have to change yourself. It is a process that requires work and dedication and prayer. So for those of you that don't really believe in God, I don't know what you pray to, and I really don't have anything against you guys. I personally do. Praying is definitely an important factor of change. Obviously, it takes a little discipline there, and you have to have a vision. How do you get a vision of change when you've been stuck in the same way over and over and over again? You watch the same programs, you go to the same job, you talk to the same people. Your situation doesn't change, so you're talking about the same problems. How do you get out of this rut? What allows you to change that way? Expose yourself to something new. Just break the norm. If you don't go to the park, go to the park one day. If you surf the web all the time, try to read a book. Just a slight shift in your normal daily activities can set off huge changes. Ask a person that hasn't prayed in a long time, and then they decide to make prayer, and all of a sudden things start to change. They may have not necessarily done anything else different in their life, even down to the schedule. But that slight difference, you took the initiative to make a change in your life, it actually brings forth all types of benefits. It is applicable throughout, meaning if you change, maybe prayer is not the only form of change for you. Maybe it is reading that book. Maybe it's getting out your house more, changing your diet. Anything that can assist you in changing, this is definitely a catalyst to a new life. What's stopping you? What's honestly stopping you from changing? Are you scared? Is it something that you feel is breaking the tradition? Maybe you feel change is unnecessary and you feel comfortable in your life right now, but you're willing to compromise certain aspects of your life because you feel you may never get there, but the rest of your life is good enough, doesn't require change. We can stop here. Well, I just want to give you a rude awakening. Life is not about that. Change is definitely a sign of growth. Change is inevitable. It's going to happen with or without your permission. Obviously, we go from young to old. Ask a lot of women out there, they would wish that change would be under their control and not control outside of them. When it comes to change, it's going to happen anyway. What's stopping you from living the life that you want to live, which is the best life? Someone told me one day they want to make the rest of their life the best of their life, and it made so much sense. Sounded cliche in the beginning, but I'm just like, you know what? I pondered on it for a moment, and I said, that's not a bad concept at all. To make the rest of your life the best of your life. Think about it for a minute. What would you do that makes the rest of your life better than what you've been living? I want you to write that down. Name some things in your life that will make it better than it is now. Get a piece of paper out and just write it down and look at that list for a moment. What is it that'll make your life better? Is it going to be more income, better ties with your family, better relationship with God? What is it that's going to really make your life better? Living in a different community? I mean, it could be a slight change. It doesn't always have to be anything major, but put it down on paper. Give yourself a visual aspect of what you mean. Because sometimes we can say we need something and it'll go in one ear and out the other. I've done it 100 times. I've done it to other people 100 times, and I'm sure I've been in that circle, that vicious circle myself. So we have to get more familiar with ourselves. I mean, we get on these phones, pull up a notepad. You don't even need to get a pen and paper. It may feel ancient. Pull up a notepad on your phone and just jot down a couple of things that'll make your life better. What will make the rest of your life better? It doesn't really matter how old you are. These could be ambitious thoughts for the young, or these could be a bucket list item for the old. But what will make your life better? I want to hear it. Again, if you're just popping up, this is Riding the Wave with Glenn T., your urban surfer. Just getting into the topic of the power of change. Who can help you change? If you want to reach out and you want to have any comments on this topic, again, you can reach me at my email, ridingthewave.podcast@gmail.com. Of course, I have a Twitter at Glenn_town. Those two ways are certainly ways you can get at me. Just drop a comment, a line, a suggestion, anything that you would like to hear or talk about. And also for those podcasters out there, anybody that you want to get on my show, you feel like I'll be a good guest for your show, you can always drop me a line too. I definitely don't bite. Again, I'm very sociable on these means. In real life, who knows? But, this is the craft. I love it. And hopefully you guys do too. Again, this is Glenn T. You can catch me on Twitter, Glenn_town. Also, ridingthewave.podcast@gmail.com. I am, of course, your urban surfer, Glenn T. And again, we're just talking about the power of change. What makes our lives better? What can we do to make our lives better, actually? So again, back to that, just take a look at some of those things that you wrote down. Just really to go over it and just see what you come up with. I'm interested to finding out. Maybe some of you guys have a small list. Some of you guys need a complete overhaul. We're all different at the end of the day. I'll just be happy just to find out what you guys think. Now, just moving right along, I want to know something now, being that we're in the mode of change. Everybody wants to change, whether it's for the better, whether people are uncontrollably getting worse. Change, again, is inevitable. Name some things you can do to change. Who knows you better than you? So I'm interested to finding out, what can you do to change? Name some things that you can do to change. Do you smile much? Maybe you can start smiling more. Do you get out much? Maybe you can start getting out more. You can do things to give back, such as like podcasting and poetry and writing blogs, video blogging. You can do all types of stuff to give back. Those are all things that change. And of course, there's going to be more filling in your life. So I would say that is definitely a suggestion for those, who are thinking on those lines. You may just want to go ahead and give back. That's always a good way of change. Another good exercise, if you're thinking about things to do to change. This is something that I tried. I know a lot of people out there, they struggle with this. So hopefully this can help a couple of people out here. And again, these perceptions are only my own. These are my own truths. This is the way I see reality. If you see it the way I see it, wonderful. If you don't, thank you for listening. Either way, my only mission is to change one mind a day in a positive way. If I can't do it, I failed. If I can change at least one mind, I've done my job. That's all I'm here to do. Just give back, ride the wave with you guys, and when we make it to shore, that is going to be the other side. So we're all in the water together. Some people are closer than others. We certainly don't know. Back to that exercise. One thing I can certainly suggest is that it will work. You just have to give it a shot. Nobody's forcing you Do things in your time. Sometimes people live like it's forever. Sometimes people live like tomorrow's never going to come. Wherever you fall in on that spectrum, you just do it on your own. But one thing I can do is suggest, and that's what I'm doing. So, again, back to the piece of paper. I'm not sure how good the notepad will work on this. This is more of a visual exercise. But what I want you to do is take a piece of paper and you put your name in a circle in the middle, right? Just put a nice, right in the middle of the paper. I want you to put your name in a circle. So your name is John, your name is Jane. Go ahead and put a circle around it, and we'll continue with step 2. That step is name every connection or every relation that you can possibly have as if you're a male, if you're a female, and, all of the possible branches. So if you're a male, you can potentially be a father, a son, a brother, an uncle. And then, you can get off into things like if you have cousins and things like that, and steps and in-laws. Your branch is as detailed as, you are, as detailed as your family is. But I want you to take your name, and with your name, draw a line for every branch of relation that you can possibly be. And if you don't fit this relation, that's where it ends there. Hey, if you have control over it, wonderful. If not, moving right along. So now that you have these branches of father, son, nephew, uncle, all of these different things, I want you to write the names of the people that make these connections possible. All right, so now your paper should be your name, circle, branches, and the names of the people that make these different connections possible. Of course, I want you to label the connections. That makes sense. Okay, so if you follow me, the next thing I want you to do is this. I want you to take all of those names and give yourself an unbiased, right? Don't put any emotion to it. So give yourself an unbiased assessment of that relation you have with that particular person. And again, this some people, God willed it, their family, you may not be able to include all of the names. You have such a large family. But whatever names you can include, I definitely want you to unbiasedly assess if that connection is a good one or otherwise. Okay? So now we're getting a little more deeper. So now that you have that in place, what can you do to change these connections? Some of these connections might be good. You may not need to do anything. That means you're on your job. Others, different story. If they're bad, what can you do to change it? Is it irreconcilable? Are these people dead? Do they not want to talk to you anymore? Do you not know where they're at? Just, kind of write it down and figure out where you're at. And once you get that assessment of if it's good or bad and why, I want you to figure out if it's truly worth it. Because, sometimes time goes by, and guess what? That huge problem that blew up in your face over $20, or that huge problem over this person didn't give me back the item that they borrowed, or they said something about me that I didn't like, or, whatever you could